Your Soul, a podcast of Madison Christian Church, Madison, Tennessee. We're talking about your soul. Letter 5. What are we made for? What are humans all about? What is the purpose? Why would you be made as a soul and body together instead of a body without a soul? And why did God make so many of us? Someone says our purpose is to find a life that feels fulfilling. Someone else says our purpose is to glorify God. Someone else says there is no purpose, it's all a mess. Which is right? What does that mean? How can we do that? We find the start of the human story in the Bible. Well, if that can tell us what we are, what the individual human life is, what the grand plan is, and how each of us fits into it, and what we're supposed to do and the distractions to avoid, that would help us a lot. This study talks about the soul. That's your mind, emotions, will, spirit, gender, personality, and so on. What the grand plan is, we can't understand all of it. We have clues to a little bit of it, some in Genesis, Romans, Revelation, and some made into ourselves. What the individual human life is, that's a little bit easier to see. We know roughly what the soul does. We are conscious, we choose, we have emotions, we think, we have identity, individuality, personality, we relate to other people. Are those clues to our purpose? They feel like it. What's a human life path? How do you fit into it? Who are you? We'll be asking these questions a lot. So let's go to Genesis chapters 1, 2, and 3. When God made people, He made them to rule over the world. Take dominion. That's Genesis 1, verses 26 through 28. Do you want to control things? Good. God is willful, and you are made in His image. You were made to rule over the earth and subdue it, or at least over a part of the earth. Now, let's use that will in a good way. And it's like that for the rest of your soul. God made you to think, to feel, to relate, to be unique. God thinks, God feels, God relates. We are meant to use all those parts of us. Of course, it's not a good idea to use them any way we want. We're still selfish and immature. Can we even be trusted? He also made people to be male and female. Then He tells them to multiply and to fill the earth with their reproduction. That was on page 1 of the Bible, so that we won't miss it. Page 2, we discover that man and woman need each other. And when the Lord introduced them to each other, they were naked. Any questions about that? God also calls them husband and wife. That's a permanent relationship, not a quick, casual one. Jesus said that God has joined husband and wife together, and people should not separate them. That's in Matthew 19, verses 4 through 6. God put those first people to work in a garden. That's in Genesis 2:15. He intended humans to work, and He gave us a great place to start the work in. He put two people together, a man and a woman, so they could help each other. Genesis 2:18. Each contributes something the other doesn't have. There's another part of our purpose. It is obedience. A tempter, called the serpent, deceived Eve and tempted Adam. It appears the serpent was scheming for himself, opposing God, and using humans as tools. What was his motivation? Charles Spurgeon said, "Consider how precious a soul must be when both God and the devil are after it." Man and woman were given instructions. Do tend the garden. Do rule. Do be fruitful and multiply. Don't eat the fruit from that one tree. Maybe God gave them other instructions too. We don't know. They disobeyed one of those instructions, and what a mess the world is now. Maybe they could have disobeyed one of the other instructions. This one was bad enough. Now we hate obedience, and we have to learn it hard. One instruction got changed. Man and woman were originally put in the garden and were supposed to work in it. That was changed to them being forced out from the garden. But God never revoked the rest of the instructions when man and woman left the garden. To carry the image of God, rule the earth, multiply. He never withdrew His image from us. He never changed our relationships with one another, in which we need and give and receive help. Human nature changed from innocent to broken, from obedient to defiant, and the situation changed. But the mandate remains, and the purpose remains. Living in paradise and ruling the world. But these humans who came before us disobeyed, and in the process wrecked both themselves and the whole creation. Adam broke the cosmos. Wrong way to start ruling the world. Souls are dangerous. We're capable of destroying other lives. Adam used his to destroy the world. Present-day humans are capable of destroying life on our own planet. But that doesn't mean the soul should be caged or tamed, just as a lion is no healthier to be in a cage. We're dangerous, and we're supposed to be. Let's be dangerous, and for good. The first human wrecked the world, soiled the human race, and threw the whole creation into pain. See, for example, Genesis 3, verses 16 through 19, Romans 5, 12 through 19, 1 Corinthians 15, 21 to 22. We can cause great harm to ourselves and to each other. That power doesn't go away when you follow God. Let's try to use great power in good and great ways. So consider what we have. The image of God, ruling, sex, worthwhile work, a paradise garden, people helping each other. Those are all clues to the purpose of humans and someday our destiny. That's not enough for me to figure it out. We don't have a full grasp of it. Maybe you don't have to do anything great or deep. Maybe child raising and labor are enough. Does this mean that everybody is supposed to work in a garden and have children? No. Does this mean that every woman is supposed to help a man? No, it doesn't say that either. Some people are not made to be married or to have children. All those statements in the Bible are clues, not answers, to the purpose of humans, including you and me. Are those clues enough? Let's say this another way. God intends for us to be in a physical life with physical needs, such as an environment, food, and health. Another dimension of that purpose includes lifetime relationships, gender roles, and reproduction. That's family. God has also made us for productive work, beneficial relationships, designated roles, conquering, beauty, obeying Him, and more. Those are some dimensions. What would you call some of the other dimensions? And what about the particular purpose of each individual? I hope to inquire about your particular purpose and mine many times through this series. For now, let's work with the idea that God made us for some purpose, whatever that may be. The image of God is still here in us, but it's warped and stained by disobedience. The same is true of the other details in this story: ruling, work, relationships, environment. People made things worse by misruling. Sex now has all kinds of trouble attached, especially when used outside of the framework God gave us. You might work in some place less desirable than a paradise garden, and sure enough, work is resistant. Now the whole world has thorns and weeds, and death. All the good things got messed up. That's what disobedience does to everybody. We look forward to redemption of ourselves and of creation. See Romans 8. That's the future of God's people. That's God's plan for us. We were made in the image of God, and we're being remade to the image of His Son. In some ways, we will be like Him. 1 John 3:2. What are we made for? We don't know, but it's more glorious than we can imagine.